Hello and welcome to That British Homestead. My name's Nick and we're going to be having a look through this allotment patch, basically replacing the video that I completely messed up the other day. If you haven't done already, please hit subscribe because we can't grow without you and I really appreciate it. So let's get started. Okay, so we're starting in my personal, this is my favourite part of the allotment in the summer. This is the tomato patch. Love the tomato patch. I think I counted 63 tomatoes in this patch so far. I have about 70-ish, I think 74 tomatoes in total, which I know what you're going to say is a lot of tomatoes. However, we make all our own tomato sauce and we're going to be focusing on ketchup, barbecue sauce, maybe a little bit of salsa, see how my salsa store goes. I probably need a couple more jars, but not as much as I made a couple of years ago because I literally had enough salsa for like years. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it is a good tomato year. Now, I was talking to my partner and every single year we kind of bet whether it's going to be a hot year or a cold year, and I'm like full in on the hot year, sorry. So I'm like going heavy on tomatoes, peppers, aubergines, etc. My partner thinks it's going to be a cold year, so hopefully I'm right, okay, because it's the benefit of all of us if I'm right. But all of these tomatoes are heirlooms. When I go ahead and plant tomatoes, in the back of my mind is like what they look like when I harvest them. I've gone quite heavily on the blue tomatoes, and genuinely last night I was like, did I do too many blue tomatoes? Will there be enough red tomatoes, pink tomatoes and green tomatoes? This is the sort of stuff that keeps me up at night. I'm talking to Ali and she's at the Right Pear plot. She has a beautiful range of tomatoes to the point that I'm actually a little bit jealous of some of the tomatoes that she's actually gone ahead and grown. And I don't ever say that I'm jealous of people's tomatoes, just, you know, here, there and everywhere. She has some really nice ones going ahead and growing. As soon as I hear a new tomato variety, I'm always super excited about it. I'm like, oh my God, I've already got that one. It's almost exactly the same. I have to have it. So yeah, all of these tomatoes pretty much are different varieties. So I think I've got 63 varieties, so I have got a couple of doubles, but my doubles are actually at home, so I pick my absolute favourite, which is very difficult, and mostly beefsteak tomatoes, and I grow them at home because here there's more of a risk of blight, whereas at home there's much less of a risk of blight. So they look gorgeous. Oh, my lovely bindweed. Every year I grow it. I can give you tips on growing bindweed. I'm really good at it. I don't want to boast or anything. Now, I said that that's my favourite patch in the summer because I literally saw this patch. I was like, I can't lie. So this is the strawberry patch, and oh my days, it's full of strawberries, and I love strawberries. You know, I buy a lot of strawberries and I love strawberries, but strawberries are in the shop nothing like these strawberries. Now, I should have really weeded the strawberry patch and taken some of the strawberries out. You know what? I'm not even sorry that I haven't. I literally let them go wild. Probably got too many hundred there. But my goodness, every time we come around, we get like a bucket of strawberries. I made a strawberry pie the other day. Oh, it was so good. So I was thinking to myself, oh, I've got that 1 carrot, so that's good. Like, honestly, why did you need any more? I might actually build a root cellar for my 1 carrot. But what I was thinking to myself was this. I might go ahead and put some more carrot seeds in, and then I'll get them, you know, like a harvest in like August, if any of them germinate, which is very unlikely. But I bought some stuff from Mr. Feathergills, which I'll show you later, and he sent me, or they sent me, a load of carrot seeds. You know, you get a free thing. This is not like sponsored or anything, but I'm just letting you know, they send you a free packet and it happened to be seeds of carrots, and I was like, you know what, I will plant these and they will grow, and they'll be amazing. But honestly, I tend to get roughly 0 germination of my carrots, but I will try again, not to boast or anything, you know, but I did go ahead and sow a load of carrots on my front drive, which is awesome, yay, and they actually went ahead and germinated. And I'm like saying to my partner, oh my God, I might have to thin these bad boys out. And he's like, Nick, why did you plant them there? I told you, which you didn't. We're going to put a drive in. So I have carrots that aren't going to get to maturity because he's going to put a drive in. I mean, that's an act of God. Now, I like to give you an honest depiction of the allotment. This needs to be hand weeded, but it's looking really good. I like the sage particularly. I think it looks very beautiful, as you can see there. And the thyme's gone to flower as well. So we've got lovely bits of flower, and I'll actually go through and take some of this for a bouquet at home. I just think it looks so beautiful. The bees absolutely love it. Here is absolutely full of rust. Isn't it funny how the other side of the allotment there's like no rust, and over here it's full of rust? But what I'm going to do is make sure I don't cross-contaminate anything, so I'm not touching these. So what I do is I weed one bed one day and weed a bed the next day. I don't ever weed them both on the same day because I'm worried about them spores being on my clothes and then transferring, etc. So, and I also have a set of tools for this allotment and a set of tools for that allotment, so they're not being crossed over, because I worry about them being, you know, cross-contaminated. So here, whoops-a-daisy. Here we've got a load of our courgettes. Courgettes is always a tragic harvest for us. Now, if you know anything about gardening, you know that courgette plants are ridiculously high producers. I've done 2 plants this year. Why? Because first off, there's 2 different varieties, and I'm always like, ooh, when it comes to varieties. And second off, it's because there's always an act of God that mess up my courgette plants. And I know what you're thinking, but Nick, that doesn't make any sense, so I'll tell you the story. So one year, I can't remember chronologically if it's which year it is, but one year I had my sister come over, and she said to me, it's my younger sister, she said to me, oh, like, do you mind if I harvest some courgettes? And actually she said, can I have a courgette? Because my sister is the complete opposite from me. Me and her, honestly, couldn't tell the difference. She's just got darker hair than I do. But like, she come over and she's like, oh, can I have some courgettes? I love courgettes. She's never grown a thing in her entire life. In fact, I gave her a strawberry plant a couple of years ago, and she threw it away because it was too dirty to have in the house. It says everything, doesn't it? So very, very different, right? She's a fantastic person though, obviously. Anyway, so she said to me, oh, can I have a courgette? I said, yeah, fine. And she kind of did this, like, it was like a cartoon. It was like a fall, but she kept like falling. So she'd get up and fall and get up and fall and get up and fall. She was absolutely fine. She was laughing the whole time, right? And the thing is it was so funny, I was giggling too. And she ended up just completely destroying my courgette plant and most of my garden. So it was just like, oh no. She was absolutely fine though. And then one year Jasmine helped me, and I'm very like, I think it's so important to have kids in the garden. And I think it's very important to have kids in the garden from a very young age. But the downside of having kids in the garden from a very young age is that they make mistakes, okay? And mistakes are okay. We learn from our mistakes. And what I did is I was like, oh, why don't, you can actually see it in a video. I was like, why don't you do all of the harvesting? She loves harvesting. I think it's really important for people that want their children down the allotment to focus on the things that the kids love. My daughter hates weeding, but don't make her weed. She loves harvesting. So I gave her the secateurs, and I was like, why don't you do all of the harvesting? She's harvesting away. She got to the courgette and she cut the growing tip off the top of the courgette accidentally with the shears. Well, one thing led to another, and we didn't get a single courgette that year after that point. So I went from having loads of courgettes to having 0, and I really like courgette. Of course, like this time of year, I'm like, I love courgette. In a few months' time, ask me if I still love courgettes. Probably yes, because they'll probably, lightning will hit them. So there is like really no reason to have more than 1 courgette plant unless you're me, or you like them. The year before, like my first year, I think, growing courgettes, or it might have been second, I don't know, I can't remember. Well, anyway, I had so many courgettes, I actually made it into courgette powder, which I still use. And the thing is my courgette powder is getting to the point of like almost running out, and I really like it because in the winter I feel like if I put courgette powder in things, it's like boosting that minerals. up a little bit, especially in the winter where we don't have that much coming in from the garden. My pet family also absolutely hate courgette, so if I'm able to like sneak it into food, then that is like honestly a bonus for me. So here we've got a load of Jerusalem artichokes. I love Jerusalem artichokes. They're like a little bite of my childhood. My nan grew Jerusalem artichokes, and it always makes me laugh because if you read how did you grow Jerusalem artichokes online, you can like look and they're like fertilization, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, fertilizing? My nan literally grew Jerusalem artichokes in pebbles. So she had 6-foot fence, pebbles, and then she had a shed, right? No sunlight, no watering, no nothing, and she had Jerusalem artichokes all year. She had enough to like literally, if you wanted Jerusalem artichokes, she had them, okay? And she used to store them, and this works really well because I've done it. If you put them in the like vegetable tray in a bag, but like there's low, you know, like how you harvest them, they're all very knobbly, so they're like full of mud. If you leave them like that in a tied up, they last until spring. They last forever. So that's how she used to do it, and we used to have Jerusalem artichokes coming out of our ears, so it was like always a really good harvest. So yeah, I stuck them here. Like I top it up with wood chip just to keep the weeds down. They grow through anything, like literally M25 you could drop a Jerusalem artichoke and there'd be like tons of them, and you know they spread like crazy, so you do have to keep an eye on them. That is the why that this bed here is the only one with solid borders left, because I took them out everywhere and I got rid of them because slugs tend to hide down here, but like the slugs can have a go at the Jerusalem artichokes. They're going to be fine. Here is a very good bed. I actually gave this rhubarb a massive haircut, but as you can see it's grown back lovely. I'm going to be making a rhubarb vodka this year for my mum, which sounds really like fancy, but it is literally just sugar, vodka and rhubarb. I make it for my mum every year because for Christmas, and she really loves it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that this year too. Now these peonies are amazing. I actually have a whole bouquet of them, and I was chatting away the other day and one of them just went plop on the floor, and then Jasmine saw it and she was got really upset about the peony being on the floor, and I said don't worry, I'm going to go ahead and do you mind? That's cherry. I said that I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I bring her home some peonies today, so I'm going to remember to do that. Okay, so this bed here behind me isn't actually filled, but I'm going to go ahead and plant this whole entire plot here with, get how wide I am, here with beans. I've gone ahead and sowed them at home in little cups. I'll bring them here. I find that if I sow beans directly in this allotment, they just vanish, and I'm not 100% sure why. I think I might have a beetle or something that eats the developing beans, or maybe it's the mice eat the developing beans. So I go ahead and start them at home. It's just easier. I try to do things so that I'm not disappointed. You know, it's awful when you do so much work and love, it's a bit like carrots, and you don't get anything back from it. So this, can you guess what it is? That's right, it's marshmallow. This plant is so incredibly soft. Oh, it is developing a load of little holes in the leaves, but that's okay. We're actually going to be harvesting the root from this. This is a medicinal plant called marshmallow, and it is the original plant that gave marshmallows its name. Now we don't actually put marshmallow in marshmallow, but it is a herb which is very good for congestion, colds, flus, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and make some lozenges out of this, and probably some marshmallows out of this, and have them as like a medicinal herb within my household. Very exciting. This is a carrot bed. I haven't actually looked to see if it's got carrots in it. This is one of my jobs today. I actually planted this carrot bed like the same day as I did the potatoes. So we did the potatoes and I did the carrot bed all in the same day. This was on the 17th, so just after Andrew came out of the hospital. Madness, I know. But yeah, I haven't actually had time to look at it, or I haven't wanted to look at it. It's more of the point, because I was actually quite nervous to see if it actually has germinated or anything. I'm gonna have to at one point, so that point is probably gonna be today. There's probably nothing in it, that's why I'm like, oh. There's an actual like random potato here. Look. How weird's that? It's just like a potato by itself. Potato. After you have allotment for a few years, you kind of get that sort of stuff where you're like, oh, there's a potato. Why is that? This bit of the allotment, I don't feel like I use it to its potential, which has to change because I'm actually running out of room vastly. So there is a couple of beds around here which, to be honest, I'm not using them to their potential, so they will be used to their potential this year because I'm getting to the point where I'm like, where am I going to put this stuff? So it's going to have to be over here, which is good. I've kind of like slowly made my way back, so this is going to be tackled this year. Now, something I'm very proud of on this particular allotment is the trees. Mostly because they're doing so well. This is a plum, and this is the tree that done the best since I've had it. Now, it is absolutely covered in plums, which is very exciting. Hence why I was telling you that I want to make sure that I'm making fruit levers and making sure that I have an outlet for all of this fruit that's coming in, because probably it's going to be nothing. Probably I'm not going to get a single actual fruit because I haven't had any yet, but they look so promising. I've never really done trees before, so I'm not an expert. I've killed a few trees though. I'm actually going to have another fig tree soon, and not to boast or anything, but this is a third fig tree that I've going to be having because one just randomly died. I'm pretty sure it was eaten by a rabbit, but I didn't notice, and one was eaten by a rabbit over there, so yeah, I'm really good at that. Okay, and then this one over here, look how many apples it has on it. Like, look, I've bought covers for them so that the birds and the insects don't lay eggs in it and stuff, but apparently you need to make sure that the ladybirds are out in like force before you go ahead and do that, or you're going to go ahead and trap all the aphids in there with no predator, and we don't want to do that, do we? So those two trees are doing excellently. I'm really proud of them. My pear tree looks really pathetic. It's in a load of weeds. I really need to move this, so the next time Bob comes down I'm going to get him to cut it up with his choppy thing, angle grinder, that's the one, so that it's completely, you know, out of the way. He's the one who does all like the manual labour here, so I'm the one that kind of holds Andrew all the time, so I don't really want to be using any power tools whilst I have a delicate little boy strapped to me, which I think is understandable. Ooh, what a wobbly bit. I'm always beneficial for him because he works with his hands, which makes him way better at using a power tool. I actually struggle with drills quite a lot. I don't know why, but I can't actually get a drill to drill. It just rounds, and I think it's called rounding the drill bit, but I just ruin all the drill bits basically. Okay, so this is another bed. This bed is just, oof, the back of the allotments. I need to get Bob to do the shimming over here this weekend. Maybe not this weekend. This weekend, like, I never have, so it'll be the weekend that you either see this or the weekend after you see this. Depending, I might post on Sunday, I'm not 100% sure yet. But anyway, this weekend is like ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We never go out, right, or do anything. But this weekend, we've got like loads of plans. Never happens like that. Never. So this weekend we're absolutely swamped with, like, my niece is turning 18, etc. I'm just like, madness. Bed is going to be cleared. I haven't done anything for it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to collect all of the seed here before, so I want that to mature. But it needs to be cleared. But if I go ahead and take off the cover, then the birds will strip this completely. And so, believe it or not, this is the bed that I've been working on. I removed all of this black plastic, which is all torn up, and I'm going to take some black plastic from over there, I think, and move it over, or I might turn this into the potato bed. I'm not 100% sure yet what I'm going to go ahead and do, but I am definitely going to go ahead and do one more potato bed, I think, over here. You know, we eat a lot of potatoes and we did run out this year, so it might be a good idea to have another bed of them. Is the cucumber tunnel. Now, this is half the cucumbers that we normally grow, and the reason I've done that is because I'm thinking to myself, it might be a massive mistake, I'm thinking to myself, I might invest of space into something different this year, because I end up doing tons of cucumbers. We love cucumbers, but I do feel like in the summer I'm kind of like force feeding people cucumbers. We give a ton of them away. People come over here and help me harvest. I'm always giving them cucumbers, which I still have enough to do. I still have enough for like 3 people's cucumbers and enough to give away and etc. But I think I was going a little bit too much. Half of these are pickling cucumbers and half of these are fresh eaten cucumbers. So yeah, I will see. Maybe this is a big mistake and you're shouting at me like, Nick, don't do it. And I'll be like, dude, it's too late, it's already happened. You know, you should have told me that last month. So yeah, and this happy mistake was because I actually sowed too few cucumbers, which is annoying. Normally I put loads more in, but it is what it is, you know. So this bed is the one that I'm probably going to do potatoes in. So I'm going to take out the black plastic, put down some cardboard and then cover it in manure. That's like the plan. I have tons and tons of cardboard. We buy Bailey his food and it always comes in like 2 boxes of cardboard, which is just terrible because it's such a waste of like cardboard. We recycle most of it and then we use it for like over the allotment, so it's all getting reused, but still. So this was also covered in flowers and seeds the other day, and I took the cover off because I stole it for something else, and you can see that the birds have come in and just completely utterly stripped this plant. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it. I'll give this to the chickens so it doesn't go to waste, and then whatever's left will go into the compost. But as you can see, they are finished completely. This was purple sprouting broccoli, which is a fantastic harvest, but it takes a long time to make. So I'm going to go ahead and probably put some brassicas or maybe some lettuce here. Under the black plastic, lettuce grows really, really well, because I think, you know, the heat and everything like that. They'll put some shade cloth on it so that it's not too intense, but it did grow really well here last year. So we'll see. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to put the lettuce, but I've got tons of it and I need to get it in soon, because as soon as the summer really, really hits, then it's not very happy. So this is Mount Weed. This is what happens to all of our perennial weeds, the ones that we can't compost because they'll spread everywhere. This is bindweed and grass, and there is docks and stuff like that there. We go ahead and burn this once in a while. It is a bit awkward because over this side of the allotment there is a load of people that are doing cricket, and obviously they don't like being smoked out by a massive fire. We do have a burn barrel and we will fill that up and transfer it over, but what I'll do is I'll burn this. My idea is to move this pile of ash and things, because ash is so good for the ground. It spreads everywhere anyway, but I will go ahead and make sure that I will move the ash around, and also the chickens use quite a bit of ash when they are doing their dust baths, which they've started to do quite greatly lately. I top their dust bath up whilst I'm here. They absolutely love dust bathing. It is really, really good for them. So I'm going to make sure that I go ahead and bring as much for them as possible. We also do quite a lot of barbecuing. My mum has a wood fire, so all of that stuff gets recycled, so it's not going to waste. You can use it on your ground, but just be careful because the salt in the burnt ashes, you just don't want to overdo it, but it is a really good fertilizer. I think that's where you get potash from, so it is very good for like tomatoes and everything that's in the nightshade family. I didn't actually cut my buddleia last year, so my buddleia is huge. Look at it, it's ridiculous. So this is like our shaded area. Now my dog, when he comes down here, my dog is like dark with stripes and he really suffers in the sun, so he actually goes ahead and goes under the buddleia and the bay tree to kind of get away from everything when he comes over here, which is really good because he digs himself a little bed over there and just doesn't bother with the rest of the allotment, which is really good because I don't want him digging up everything that's over here, which he happily does. But yeah, also I wondered if you guys know anything about making my harvest of peonies last a little bit longer, because I really love them and I don't want them to stop, and they look like they're about to stop. Is it just one of them things that once they're done, or can you deadhead them and make them last longer? I'm going to try to deadhead them, I think. So let me know down below. Right, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't done already, please consider subscribing, because we can do a lot of things here, but we can't grow without you. I'm always thankful. See you next time. Bye-bye. Just checking my microphone. Mic check 1 2. Oh, hello. So if you haven't already, you wonky. Sit up straight. If you haven't already seen her plot, I recommend it. My chickens are very, very, very proud that they've laid an egg.